Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It is coming up to dusk. You can start to see that it's that time of evening. In the background here we've got, this is Williamsburg over on that side. Not Williamsburg, Virginia, but Williamsburg, kind of, well, New York, but Brooklyn side. And this is the East River that you're having darshana. It's our little seat here. It's reserved specifically for us when we come down. Okay, so what are we doing here today?
Reading.
Oh yeah, that's what we do. Okay, here comes a rolling salsa crew. I mean, it wasn't that. There's like 2 Salsa Kirtan programs up there.
It's always when we turn on the camera. It's like, I can't make this stuff up, innit? I bet he stops right here as well.
I don't know.
Alright.
Is he like walking or is
he's pushing in the trolley. Because you gotta push speakers. You gotta push speakers, innit?
So
he's gonna stop it, you watch. He's gonna stop it.
You can put in the comments whether that's what you were expecting to see to just walk by. I mean, that's like, he's easily 60 and he's with his partner who's 78.
And they're going to that party.
And they're going to that party. That's the third DJ. Alright. Hare Krishna, it's all fun and games in the hood.
It's Canto 4, Chapter 21, Text 21.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 21. King Prithu said, O gentle members of the assembly, may all good fortune be upon you, and may all of you great souls who have come to attend this meeting kindly hear my prayer attentively. A person who is actually inquisitive must present his decision before an assembly of noble souls. Purport. In this verse, now we've got a helicopter.
Go ahead, read purport.
In this verse, the word, I'll hold it. In this verse, the word sadhava, all great souls, is very significant. When a person is very great and famous, many unscrupulous persons become his enemies, for envy is the nature of materialists. In any meeting, there are different classes of men, and therefore it is to be supposed that because Prithu Maharaj was very great, he must have had several enemies present in the assembly, although they could not express themselves. Maharaj Prithu, however, was concerned with persons who were gentle, and therefore he first addressed all the honest persons, not caring for the envious. He did not, however, present himself as a royal authority empowered to command everyone, for he wanted to present his statement in humble submission before the assembly of great sages and saintly persons. As a great king of the entire world, he could have given them orders, but he was humble, meek and honest that he was so humble, meek and honest that he presented his statements for approval in order to clarify his mature decision. Everyone within this material world is conditioned by the modes of material nature and therefore has 4 defects. But although Prithu Maharaj was above all these, still, like an ordinary conditioned soul, he presented his statements to the great souls, sages and saintly persons present there. Now there's a party boat going by. Can you see it?
Okay. Comment, please.
Alright. Keepers. Oh, freedom.
Any thoughts?
It's very distracting here. That my thoughts are that what sticks out is humility.
Yeah.
and Maharaj Prithu Prabhupada is explaining, you know, he's presenting himself in front of esteemed people, senior people, and just, you could say, people that are in position. You know, the way to, the etiquette, he's being humble, he's submitting himself to them, even though Prabhupada says he's qualified to.
No, he's the king.
Right.
He's the top man. He could be like the boss.
All
Sorry.
Jeez. If it ain't the walking speakers, it's the sitting speaker. But yeah, he's a king. He's a top man. Everything he says. That point is, he's humbled himself.
Well, sorry, with all due respect. So it's interesting in the verse it says a person who is actually inquisitive must present his decision before an assembly of noble souls. It's like an interesting statement. A person who's inquisitive, you would think that if someone who's inquisitive would present his question, not his decision. But I think it's kind of the same thing. So it means like, okay everyone, so I was thinking that we should, tax the people and do X, Y, and Z. What do you think? So it's like, he's inquisitive, that's inquiring, but here's my decision. So he's basically checking himself, which is the essence of what you're saying. He's humble, but that's how he's exhibiting his humility there. Anyway, text 22. King Prithu continued, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, I have been appointed the king of this planet, and I carry the scepter to rule the citizens, protect them from all danger, and give them employment according to their respective positions in the social order established by Vedic injunctions. Purport. And it looks like a long one. A king is supposed to be appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to look after the interests of his particular planet. On every planet there is a predominating person, just as we now see that in every country there is a president. If one is president or king, it should be understood that this opportunity has been given by the Supreme Lord. According to the Vedic, well, there you go. Anyway, that's a whole thing around the Trump thing, right? Given them by the Supreme Lord. According to the Vedic system, the king is considered a representative of Godhead and is offered respects by the citizens as God in human form of life. Actually, according to Vedic information, the Supreme Lord maintains all living entities and especially human beings to elevate them to the highest perfection. After many, many births and lower species, when a living entity evolves to the human form of life, and in particular to the civilized human form of life, his society must be divided into 4 gradations as ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam, etc. The 4 social orders, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, are natural divisions of human society, as declared by Prithu Maharaj. Every man in his respective social order must have proper employment for his livelihood. It is the duty of the king or the government to ensure that the people observe the social order and that they are also employed in their respective occupational duties. In modern times, since the protection of the government... You okay? Okay, so sorry about that little cut. We had a very friendly drunkard who wanted to hear some of the Bhagavatam and then wanted to comment. I'm going to pick up, it may be a little bit overlapping, but don't worry. Repetition of a good thing is wanted. So, after many, many births and lower species, when a living entity evolves to the human form of life, and in particular to the civilized human form of life, his society must be divided into 4 gradations as ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita. Chatur Varnam Maya Shrishtam. The four social orders, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, are natural divisions of human society, and as declared by Prithu Maharaj, every man in his respective social order must have proper employment for his livelihood. It is the duty of the king or the government to ensure that people observe the social order and that they are also employed in their respective occupational duties. In modern times, since the protection of the government or the king has been withdrawn, social order has practically collapsed. Well, we see that very clearly. No one knows who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya, and who is a Shudra, and people claim to belong to a particular social order by birthright only. It is the duty of the government to reestablish social order in terms of occupational duties and modes of material nature, for that will make the entire world population actually civilized. If it does not observe the institutional functions of the four social orders, human society is no better than animal society. Yes, we're seeing that. In which there is never tranquility, peace, and prosperity, but only chaos and confusion. Maharaj Prithu is an ideal king, Maharaj Prithu as an ideal king strictly observed the maintenance of the Vedic social order. So, so basically Prabhupada is really speaking a lot here about Varnashram and specifically the social orders and how everyone should work and be organized according to their psychophysical nature in terms of what they do for livelihood and their occupation, and that the government should actually do that, and then there can be peace. So I'm not quite sure exactly how the government is going to do that, because the government is busy trying to make, I think, everyone Shudras, except for the Vaishyas. They're trying to make them the heads. So it's the belly is the head, so everyone does everything to feed the belly, but not with any intelligence. So anyway.
Next paragraph. Prajayati iti praja. The word praja refers to one who takes birth. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj guaranteed protection for Prajanam. All living entities who took birth in his kingdom. Praja refers not only to human beings but also to animals, trees, and every other living entity. It is the duty of the king to give all living entities protection and food. The fools and rascals of modern civilization, of modern society, have no knowledge of the extent of the responsibility of the government. Animals are also citizens of the land in which they happen to be born, and they also have the right to continue their existence at the cost of the Supreme Lord. The disturbance of the animal population by wholesale slaughter produces a catastrophic future reaction for the butcher, his land, and his government.
Wow. Lord have mercy.
So true though, isn't it? It's like, I used to think like that, like so much when I was a teenager and I was becoming like a strict, I say strict vegetarian because we were brought up as vegetarians, but it wasn't always, say, my parents, came to this country, and so it wasn't always like if they got a cake or whatever, it wasn't that let's check labels and so like that. I became conscious of that, whatever. But yeah, I used to think, because then I joined, this is the point, then I joined the Vegetarian Society, and then they send you lovely leaflets and things and that which look really gross, and you think, I don't need to be convinced of this, you don't need to send me gross pictures, like, but I used to think surely there's it's a knock-on effect for so much pain and suffering of these animals just in the slaughterhouses alone, because I used to watch some, not major stuff, but videos and the sounds of this. I mean, I remember one time staying with a friend, a devotee, I won't say where just in case someone knows her, but we're staying in the spare room in their home, and then during the day it was just me and her, and you could hear like animal sounds, lot of animal sounds in the distance. It was a countryside in the distance. And then I said, what is up there? And she said, that's the slaughterhouse. So that sounds that I was hearing like constantly were, she said, animals basically being killed, you know. And I used to wonder, because she lived in the countryside, so I thought, it's some sort of farming thing going on, but what is up there? What is that? And it just was like, oh my God, you know, just that was so disturbing. So to hear that, oh Krishna. So she lived very near a temple, by the way, very, very near a temple. So I don't know, Hare Krishna, I don't know, some benefit for those animals. But the point being that, as Prabhupada makes powerfully here, you know, you are going to get a knock-on effect, not just for the person who's owning that slaughter place and then the land that it soils, as it were, but yeah, governments, you know, generations, wars, the atmosphere, distrust, you know. Yeah, why wouldn't you? It's such a disgusting practice, you know. Even when we were in secondary school and it became a thing to not wear makeup or this, that had been tested. No, I don't wear, never wore makeup anyway. That has to be tested on animals. Lord, sorry, there's an animal.
So there you go. That was an animal. She flicked it with her finger.
I flicked it. I didn't go like that. I went like that. But yeah. See, now I lost my train of thought.
No, you said when you were in school that people stopped wearing makeup.
Because they were testing on bunny rabbits and monkeys and that. You know, that's disgusting and gross, and surely some reaction, gross or subtle, is coming to people, whether you take it on your face, whether you sell it, whether you choose to be in charge of those factories that does that. It's so horrible. Don't ever Google these things. It's really disturbing and horrible to look at these things.
My hunch is that probably most of the people out there are already well aware of it, and there's such a sheltered, young, you know, sincere, pure-hearted soul that, you know, I couldn't look at these. But most people have seen it. Yeah, it's really nasty. There are people who set up tables and show what happens when you test on animals and how they basically torture them. It's crazy. And yeah, the whole point is exactly this. That Vedic society promotes that all living entities should be looked after and protected. And I think there was a statement, would it say, they also have a right to be supported by the Supreme Personality of Godhead or something like that. Yeah, anyway, there was a point which, yeah, animals are also citizens of the land in which they happen to be born, and they also have the right to continue their existence at the cost of the Supreme Lord. I thought, well, there you go. Now, but you're not going to get many squirrels or hamsters or dogs or monkeys or bunny rabbits waving the flag saying, you know, we have the right, we have our right. So somebody has to protect them, and that should be the king, or that should be, you know, humans. They shouldn't be taking advantage of the animal species. They should be the protectors of the animal species. But there you go. Okay, I think we're going to conclude here because the bugs are starting to bite as dust sets in. So thank you all very much again. Bhagavatam Bites Ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, that crazy guy walking in the camera Ki Jai.